Hey, welcome to BassNastyFishing.com's Christmas Special Part 3. Actually, this is kind of post-Christmas special because it's a little bit after Christmas, but today we're going to go in a completely different direction, but stay in the same theme. And you're like, well, how are we going to do that? Today we're going to go and talk about one of my other loves, Japanese tackle. And you're looking at me and you're going, well, the past two, episodes of the Christmas special, you're all going, well, you're all about small business, about made in America, everything like that. And I'm like, I am 100% about that. However, I've been a collector of Japanese tackle for as long as I can remember, like 10, 15 years. And I have some really cool stuff, and I really like the character, originality, and personality that all these baits have, and that their Japanese baits have. They, the Japanese people, they just have this, crazy, free imagination when it comes to stuff. So, instead of just having baits that are just kind of like, cookie cutter, run of the mill norm stuff, they have all sorts of different stuff. In regards to shapes and forms, and just different takes on certain things. Now, of course, one of those ones is, as you can see, this is one of the baits I have, and I mean, this is just crazy. It's like from BAP's surface bait Libertaria, which unfortunately, from what I can find, is no longer around. So, but anyways, you can see this is just like, it's like a topwater prop bait. The thing is just super amazing. It's fun. You're not gonna find anything like that in America, unfortunately. And then I have another one, it's a little bit different, a little popper, it's really cool looking, different, and you can see the ingenuity and the just the care and attention to detail that these guys do. Now, you're looking at me and saying, well, how does this apply to like baits that you can use every day? Well, when you take that and you apply it to, like, this is a Vagabond. This is an older Vagabond. This is from like the, I think, 2002 or 2003 Vagabond crankbait. This is before swim bait really came into popularity. This thing was made, and this is like really cool. Just look at the colors. The color is just amazing, and just the ingenuity and just that kind of enthusiasm and personality that these guys put into their baits is something that I really like. And I think I wish more, well, I know I wish more U.S. companies would kind of do that, build, instead of making cookie cutter, Bagley Beak, knockoffs, or, Mega Bass knockoffs, Vision 110 knockoffs, whatever like that. Bring something new to the table and bring something that's really, shows personality. Because for me, it's fun. It's not only fun to catch fish, of course, but it's fun to fish all these crazy things and actually catch fish on them. And I've caught fish on these, just stuff you'd never imagine. Now, you're saying, okay, well, how does this apply to Japanese tackle and going in small business? Well, some of the old brands that really kind of introduced, me and a lot of people to like Japanese tackle is Mega Bass. Mega Bass. At one time it was wholly made in Japan, and now they kind of moved to China for production values and all that stuff, and to boost their production because they're more popular. And unfortunately, from my opinion, and things just aren't the same. Vision 110s aren't the same. The down eyes compared to the straight eyes and all that stuff. They're just not the same. Now, the company I'm going to go into next, which is Duo Japan. They're getting into the bass market, but they've been around since like 1995. But their designers, like one of the at the time when they started, was one of the hot young designers. They had worked for Zip Baits, which had made one of my previously favorite topwaters of all time, the Zip Baits Irony, which is this one. It's like not a Sammy knockoff. It is like way better than Sammy. I don't know, everything about it is like super amazing, and I've only been able to find one of these. So this is an old school bait, Zip Baits Irony, and it's just awesome. But we're going on about Duo. Okay, so what's so great about Duo? Well, mostly you see tons and tons of baits nowadays. Okay, they're computer designed, blah blah blah, this and everything, and you know what? It's very rare. It's refreshing to see somebody who comes in and just creates from hand. And Mr. Adachi, who actually is the main lure designer for Duo, if you go onto the website and you just explore their website, the Duo Japan website, you'll see all the different iterations that he goes through. He hands carves every single bait, and goes through all the different, iterations and, modifications, all hand carved and everything like that. And what I really like about this company is that it's in-house. Everything's done in-house. So, you know, they want to control their production quality, their quality control, everything like that. So they hand carve them in-house. They, you know, make the molds in-house. They shoot the molds in-house. They hand paint it in-house. They put everything in-house, so it's all contained, and they can, it's just amazing. I mean, if you look some of the videos they have on their website, they just go on and on about, you see all these, just these people just sitting there, hand painting the lures and doing all this stuff, and you could just tell that, it's not cottage industry, but you could tell that it's a company that is employee driven, and I really like to see that. I mean, it's not just some faceless company that in Japan that's got a figurehead that's making stuff in China and shipping it over and all this stuff. These guys, every single individual in that factory and who works for Duo is committed to making that company work, because they all have a part of it. They all have their hands on that product, from the designer all the way down. So today we're talking about Duo. I mean, it's just, for me, it's refreshing to have this kind of company. And they approached me, and the gentleman approached me is Martin. He's actually one of the videos. He's a guy that I think sounds like he's Russian or Eastern European, but he's like a really cool guy. And he and I had some great discussions on Japanese tackle and JDM tackle and all that stuff. And one of the things that I'd like to just give them a shout out, because he's a really good guy, and he really it was just a pleasure talking to him and exploring his knowledge of Duo and back in the day and all that stuff, of Japanese baits and everything like that. So it's great. So again, we're going to look at the zip bait irony. Okay, this is one of the super great top waters, and this was designed by Mr. Adachi for zip baits. Now, coming up to it now, they have a Duo Realis line. Okay, their bass line used to be called Hacker. Now it's called Realis. So this is the Pencil 110. As you can see, it's a little bigger than the irony. Okay, you can see, but the quality is there, and honestly, you would never know that this was a hand-painted bait. This looks like it's done. I mean, the girl who does the painting on this is just phenomenal. I mean, and you could tell, like, look at it, look at the eyes. They just have that crazy little attitude, and it's just, this thing works amazing. It's like, shoots back and forth. It really glides. It's really easy to work. And I really like this bait. And of course, going with my JDM collection kind of thing, I have this JDM only bait, which is awesome. It's like a black tiger, and this thing is like deadly cool. And you can see the small things that they did. Look at the eyes. And this is like a clear clown. They're just regular eyes, and this one black. So you can see, they take little things that make the difference, and little things that small, like, not, I don't think they're a small company, because they have a wide range of baits, from saltwater to freshwater and all that stuff. And then they have the bass line, but just stuff that they can do to kind of bring in their, what they can do as a small company. Not a small company, but a company that does everything in-house and has the flexibility to make this kind of stuff. So, and then, again, here we go. This is a traditional old bait. This is a Smithwick Devil Source, and Matt Wilson, I know you're watching this. This is for you. I brought this one out because this is your special color. Basically, they just took this, and this is a top water bait. Now, here they go. They make this same sort of Same sort of thought process, creating turbulence through the props and everything like that, but this is actually a sinking bait. So this is going to create a lot of turbulence under the water. So a smaller profile. I think this is going to be awesome for like smallmouth bass, and if you're fishing for other stuff like crappie, wipers, stripers, all sorts of bait fish or predator fish are just going to love this thing. It's great, and actually one of the things I know that they're doing on their website is they're actually making product videos of all these things in the water and stuff, and you can really see what they're doing, and they have a worldwide kind of support base, because they're very popular in like Europe for guys, going for like walleye and pike and all that stuff, and saltwater fish. So they have lots of people doing cool videos and stuff of these baits. But anyways, this is the Spinbait 80, and you're going to see this a little bit this year. I'm going to be fishing this in the river and in Nakamixon, going for smallies. I think this is going to be a great bait. Now, again, we have, duos been around since like 1995. They have their old bass brand for duo used to be called Hacker. Now, Hacker's no longer around. They changed it to Duo. They made some adjustments and all that stuff. But one of the most popular baits that they had in the Hacker line is actually the Slaver Vibe. The Slaver Vibe was like a lipless crankbait. Unfortunately, I don't have one to show you. But the Slaver Vibe was one of their. It was just like a highly regarded lipless crankbait, and they've had tons and tons of people, wanting to reproduce it. But right now they may or may not. I'm not too sure. I don't know. Martin knows. I don't know if Mr. Dachi knows that they're going to reproduce it. But what I do know is that they've taken a step forward and created a completely different lipless crankbait that is like unlike any of the other ones you'll see out in the market right now. And you're like, well, how is that? I'm like, well, this is it. This is the Vibe 68, Vibration 68. Okay, and you're looking at it. It's a smaller bait. They have the 68 and 62. And that goes by the inches, of course. I mean, the millimeters, of course, how big they are. What you're going to notice is that they're, traditional style of, shape. But what's different about this is probably the thinnest lipless crankbait that there is. And you can just see how thin it is. It is phenomenally thin. Now, if you take that and compare it to a blade bait, and this is a Fish Sense Binsky, you can see that, they're really, really thin. I mean, it almost has the same profile as Binsky, so it is just great. And again, we're looking at a traditional crankbait. This is a Vagabond BKN 70, all right? And this is, you can see how fat it is, how fat the bottom is. And then the top's flat. It has the traditional looks and feel and, vibration of a lipless crankbait. It's fatter, so it has a wider wobble. It has a different action on the fall and a different action when you hop it or pop it. All right, so you can see the difference. Look at the difference. It's just thickness, thinness, and everything like that. So looking at this bait, it is it's just they're just crazy cool. And I've caught great fish on them. My buddy Warren's caught fish on them. They're just great fish baits of all species, not just bass species. I've caught, crappie on them. Cold water fishing, it's a little different, so we're downsizing, so we're fishing for like, bass, but we've caught crappie on this, white crappie, black crappie, perch, white perch, pickerel, you name it, being caught on this bait. And they're just, again, they're really well made. The hooks are awesome, they're just awesome, and they have that little bit of a personality with the eyes and everything on it. The colors are crazy, they're different, and I just think that's, I really like that in a company. And the fact that both of these came out of the same factory, that are, they're both hand painted, and I tell you, you just can't beat that. Now, the last thing I'm going to go over is this whole next year, I'm really going to be focusing on topwater, because I love topwater. So it's going to be buzz baits, topwater poppers, burning spitter baits, frogs, all sorts of stuff like that. So we're going to go, and they of course have their Pencil 110, They also have a popper. The popper is small. It looks similar to a Mega Bass Pop X. Um, what I like about the Pop X is it has great action pops, and you can really work it slowly and everything. And plus, it has a great paint job. Um, they're just great all around. And of course, you're looking at Duo Realis, who made theirs. They have, of course, all sorts of different colors. One of the trends now is to go towards a lot of clear colors. So this is their clear bluegill, and I think it's going to be a great color. The fish aren't really going to be able to good look at it. They're just going to see that something's creating this disturbance on the top of the water, and away you go. So, I mean, just great. Again, hand painted, and just look at this tail. This tail has got like awesome like feathers on it. They didn't skimp out on anything. The hooks are great, and they're just like top of the line stuff. And these are things that get me really excited for fishing, top water. I mean, when you're using like a crazy bait and, like a really cool bait that, fish haven't seen, or just, for me, fishing with just stuff that's really cool like that really gets me excited to go fishing, because you know what? How many people are going to be throwing like pink baits, or crazy neon green baits, or just different things. And I think I like to expand my horizons and stuff. And from what I have talked to Martin, they're looking at doing a line of soft baits in the future. Don't I'm not quoting him on it. He's just saying they're looking at it. And same thing, they're looking at maybe doing some hard baits like spinner baits and all that stuff to and bring their own little take on things, and on baits. And I really this the quality of the baits that they put out for being in-house company, small company, trying to keep everything in-house and everything. I just think it's just phenomenal. I mean, they do everything from injection to hand carving, of course, to putting the base together, shipping, you name it. Everything's all in-house. And that's how I'm translating this from working small business, supporting small business in America. And this is almost the same sort of thing, but this is just a Japanese company, Japanese tackle. And of course, I love Japanese tackle. I mean, I have limited edition reels, limited edition rods. I have just crazy swim baits, all that stuff. Japanese swim baits from back in the day, old school top waters. This year I'm going to be acquiring some like crazy Japanese frogs, Japanese topwater frogs, and everything like that. And they're just amazing. And what? Too much fun is going to be had this summer. I know, because there's nothing better than topwater fishing. But again, Duo has the whole range of Realis line, which is they have lipless crankbaits, they have top water, they have crankbaits, regular crankbaits, deep, shallow, medium runners. They have jerk baits, rip baits, and then they have their whole other line, which is their Duo International line, which is like completely saltwater, but freshwater baits, completely different lines. And I would suggest just go on their site and check it out, and check out the Duo Realis line. I know right now Tackle Warehouse is for introducing these baits. They're just like they have them, $12. Usually they go for like 19, and the quality is like so much better than anything I've seen for like 19 bucks. I mean, Lucky Craft, these are easily as much or better than Lucky Craft. Same thing with Mega Bass and everything like that. The top waters, everything. They're just like, the quality is just up there. So I know Tackle Warehouse has them on sale right now. My buddy Herb from Precision Tackle, he carries this line, and I know he'll be probably be carrying some Japanese only colors, because that's his forte. He has the craziest, coolest Japanese tackle that you can get in the States. So I would just check them out and try them out and stuff, and keep on checking with my blog, because over the next season you're going to be seeing a fair amount of fish caught on these, I'm sure, and exploring them, doing reviews on them and stuff like that. So anyways, again, thank you very much for watching, and you know what, we have a part 4 coming, and I think you'll like part 4 too. So again, this is Duo for Duo and Bass Nasty Fishing. Have a great day. Catch you later.